All right. For those of you tuning in right now, my good friend, the real X Whale, Will Kruger, reminded me that this is a card I should test. Just so leave every we don't leave every we don't leave any stone unturned, so to speak. One of the things that Reclaimer doesn't do, does a lot, is it's not a win condition against outside of something like graveyard decks. Namely, in the combo matchups, or in the long grindy games, you want a way for it to um, what's it called, accelerate a win, so to speak. Uh, you can also play something like Nurturing Peatland for long grindy games, but I think, oops, I removed. Interesting. I was gonna accept. Nevertheless, the one benefit of this over something like Peatland is it actually kills instead of just draws a card. More or less, also, it is a green, potentially untapped resource, so that is worth something over something like Westvale Abbey in the past that I've tried, which is a better finisher, but very all in and kind of counter to the way this deck is being built. So that is the one change in the main deck. Because again, Will brought it up that, and he made a valid point, which is something that I had thought of before, but had just kind of put it to the wayside. And I think it's important even when your things are going well, so to speak, or you're winning a lot. To continue experimenting, especially since leagues are a good playground for experimentation. And the thing he brought up was this is kind of free, right? Drawing the Westvale Abbey, besides it being horrible in the face of Stifle, Submerge, Bounce, etc., it's a horrible draw. And whereas this one is a green source where it's more livable. Our mana base gets a little bit worse, but maybe that's okay. And then in the sideboard, I'm testing the Mass Vandal again and the one crop rotation. So without further ado, let's see how this goes. Playing against Sonox. Um, this is not really what I want to see. Better at least. No, so they're on goblins presumably. I think Sonox probably already knows what I'm on, but I don't think it really changes our play here. If they don't know what you're on, you lead with the Windswept because that could mean you're on green-white depths. Sure. That's a pretty good start. The turn 2, draw a card and kill your threat creature, so not too shabby from our opponent here. I think the line here is it's a little bit awkward because I want to use this for mana, but at the same time, yeah, I think I will do that. I could get a heritage preemptively here. Yeah, I think I'll do that actually. And set up for a glimpse next turn. The more fair you are against goblins, the less likely um, you're to win. Goblins, like a lot of non-blue decks, will struggle with combos, so we want to accentuate that side of our deck. And I mentioned this to a couple of peers, but one of the strengths actually of Elves, I think, out of the non-blue decks, we probably have the most game against combo because of access to Thoughtseize and endurance, both actually. The other thing is our quote unquote fair cards, namely Assassin's Trophy. I hope you. That's a good thing, Ethan. But the other thing about Assassin's Trophy is even though it's a fair card, a lot of applications in the unfair matchups too. So really, the only I would say dead card, so to speak, again that has no combo applications is Progenitus, and that's by design because the Archon is already main deck. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and post the relevant links again for anybody interested in more elf content. Uh, YouTube probably being the most important. I think Patreon, if you subscribe, uh, there's a lot of value in that too, in my opinion. And then if you just like my content and just found me through, the internet, why would they do that? I think I have no choice but to block here and see what's up. They can always just kill the shepherd. Ugh, alright. So the reason why we sequence that way is it's better with glimpse, right? We gotta fade port and wasteland, and looks like we did here. Ringleader probably. Ooh, why is that main? Unless they're on the food chain version. Alright, it is what it is. I can't really play around that, but it's not the end of the world. It's really a 1 for 0. Well, 1 for 1 in the case. Well, 1 for 1, yeah. Because they pitched one of their fodder, right? I think here we have no choice but to try to go off. Ooh, that's a good draw. Land. That's okay. Sure. No blocks. Wait, what? Our opponent conceded. My only guess is they probably assume I have the kill, right? Because they don't have anything else and I didn't block. It might just be the respect, right? They know how Elves plays. I know our opponent. I'm not gonna. I don't know if our opponent wants me to reveal their real identity. Oh, they disconnected. Maybe they have to go. Interesting. Um. Yeah, I don't know. It could be a couple things, right? Maybe they had to leave. Or they had the respect. I know the opponent. I don't know if they want me to reveal their real name, but nevertheless, I talked to them about elves before, so they do know some of the elf play patterns. That's one explanation, and then the more I think straightforward one is because they conceded after one game. I think more likely they probably just had to leave, and it could get real grindy, right? Like especially since we're fogging up the board, and I don't know what they have else in their deck, but that's the only explanation. Um, I'm glad you're liking the lasagna, Ethan. So, for those of you who just tuned in after our round one, like half buy, I guess, right? Um, we are testing the one of Lair the Hydra tonight. And we are also testing the in the sideboard the Mass Vandal and the crowd rotation. I tweeted out just now that it's important not to get complacent, and I think this is a good opportunity to uh, see if we can cook up anything that is speaking of food, cook up anything that is potentially relevant for our deck in the near future. Yeah, so for those who don't know, Ethan recently went on stream with Inigo, aka Ronkor, who's a big friend and of the stream, and actually sets up a lot of the stuff going on in my stream. They 5-0'd with Jund Elves on stream, so you can catch that in Inigo's replay. There's a link to it also in the Discord, which I posted above for anybody who wants to catch that, or probably on their YouTube as well, right? So, and then the red splashing, Red Blast, and I don't remember they have Alpine Moon or not. But Ethan can probably clarify on that whether they did or not. So, as we wait, those were the changes I'm testing tonight. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, so Clothis is a nice um, tool against the fair decks in particular, with some applications against soft graveyard decks such as lands. I know that was one of the ways I had heard they beat lands in matchup, which is traditionally tough. Squirrely, nice. So we'll see. All right, we're 1-0. Can't really take too much credit for this. We probably, I don't know their hand, but our hand, if we got untapped there, was probably pretty good, and I think we're likely to win game one. But definitely can lose the Goblins matchup, especially if they are on a higher Pyrokinesis or Fury count. But I think we probably would have been up one game given how it's transpiring so far. But hard to say. And then here again, I think it's important to be, on the cutting edge, so to speak, trying to test new cards, and we'll see how these. Well, I kind of know what this card's gonna do already, but we'll see how it does in the context of the rest of the list. But more so, I wanted to test Lair the Hydra tonight as a win condition in this deck. We'll see how relevant or disastrous that is. Tarksar 1990. Speaking of Lair the Hydra, there it is. One thing about this opponent is they're usually on post, I think. But I would keep this regardless, right? You have lands and spells. I think here, yeah, it has to be one of the first two lands out, otherwise it becomes a liability. For whatever that's worth. And then, yeah, also, if you have Amazon Prime, so our opponent has just messaged us, hello Newton, 2 L's in a row. So they apparently know what we're on. I'm going to go ahead and lead with Lair. And then see what they do. This might confuse them, to be honest. Although I'm going to feel real silly if they Blood Moon us right now. Well, I don't want to see Taiga, actually. Yeah, Taiga is no bueno for us. Although Unhealingly, maybe it's not disastrous. I think we better play around the Blood Moon right now. That's funny, Ethan. Hey Mike, how's it going? Appreciate you dropping by, as always. We are playing against what looks to be like Cloud Post splashing red for some reason. Um, Here, I'm gonna go ahead. So I told the stream earlier, Mike, that we are testing tonight Lair of the Hydra to see if that is potentially worth playing in this deck. We'll pass. We have a kill next turn, but the Reclaimer will be up. Um, this is kind of an interesting spot, right? Like, natural order is not lethal here. I think we're gonna go ahead and actually hold on. Yeah, natural order is not lethal, so I'm gonna go ahead and bounce. We're 1-0, but we can't really take too much credit because our opponent scooped. What appeared to be like they were in a rush to catch dinner or something. I think yeah, we'll do this and see how it goes. The other thing we're testing some other sideboard cards too, Mike. Namely a Mass Vandal as well. So this is a full-on educational stream, right? I think here we're just gonna try to keep in the glimpse loop and then hopefully dig for a cradle as we're doing so. This matchup is probably hard. Our opponent is like a seasoned. Our opponent is a seasoned Cloud Post player, so I think that in itself is going to be very difficult to navigate. But we'll see. We shall see. Yeah. All right. I think here we don't have any more mana. I think it's a waste to blow the green sun here, so we'll just pass and see what our opponent does. Yeah. So the line here is we're gonna go ahead and green sun for Gris, and then force the Reclaimer activation to see what they do. Sure. And I'm gonna go ahead and deck thin here because we just can, right? The deck thinning is free before we once. Once is trying to find Cradle. No Cradle. Archon's interesting, but I don't think we want it. Probably fetch land is the way to go. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and green sun for Gris and see how our opponent reacts. This should draw the chasm if they're playing it safe. Yeah. There is an argument to be made here. Okay, so I'm gonna pass turn. I mean, pass priority so that their mana is no longer there. That won't change anything here, but the new line here is, I think I want to definitely fetch first, and then I can natural order here. Question is, do I natural order for Archon? I think it's probably that. Yeah, I think Null Rod is like, Collective Oof is like appealing as well. I feel like we probably want to just shut off their sorceries though. But this is actually problematic. I think I'm gonna Stone Rain them actually. Oh, they had it naturally. I think what I'm gonna do here is I don't want them to get back the lands. Like this is one way we lose. Plus. One thing about this matchup is it's essentially a goldfish for the other side, unfortunately. I think we play that. We don't have white for the Archon right now, but I don't think it matters. They're probably gonna hit the Gris. Yeah. And then just so we at least bluff the end step once upon a time, tap for mana in case it matters. Here they've locked out our Gris. I think the next line is we gotta get the Archon on board. So probably need to find the what is it called? Probably need to find Virtual Ranger so we can hardcast it. We do have this active glimpse, which is like really good right now. Oops, cancel. Yeah, that's fine. There's a birch lore. Unfortunately, the bog is now. Let me think. In our hand. There's a couple of things here that we can do. How many wirewoods? One, two, three. There's one wirewood left. What do we have left that we actually want? Actually, cancel. Probably just. No, we only have the one Durns, unfortunately, Langlands. Good question, though. That would be potentially relevant. I think we get the Shepherd because that's a way to kill. I don't think the rest of the deck really matters. And then now we can just name. Oh shoot, we screwed up. That was a bad mistake by me. Alright, I screwed up. I should have been able to generate blue, not blue. I should have been able to generate white mana there. And name sorcery. We get punished here if they have another sorcery. Actually cancel. I think we can just pitch the cradle, right? Doesn't do anything. I don't think actually. I think the line here is actually straightforward. We're gonna see if we can bait whatever they have out. They have 4 lands. It's possible they want to cast Primeval Time pretty soon. I think we just name sorcery, to be honest. Once Upon a Time is alive. They pass priority. And then I don't want to reveal that. I don't want to reveal that Bog's in our hand. For whatever that's worth. The cool thing is the Mass Vandal might be like largely irrelevant now out of the sideboard. Yeah, awkwardly the Bog is in our hand. Awkwardly. I'm trying to think how we actually win this match because like the Bog being in the hand is just like kind of brutal. I think we have the problem is they can continue to recur the Bog, and I'm not sure how, with the Grist dead here, how do we win? Or if there's even a way, right? I mean, I think Langlands seems to be under the impression that we can win, but I'm just not sure what that line looks like, right? Yeah, it's just very awkward to draw this Bog here. I think we have to Bog here and then just hope they screw up. No, the Mass Vandal's not in the deck, unfortunately. It's in the sideboard. They do go down a land, yeah. We just have to, I guess, hope they miss land drops. Maybe that's... This is just, like, very painful. I think we played it right. The problem is drawing this is just not good, right? Otherwise we bog, like, in between, right? During upkeep. Who are they targeting? Themselves? Hey David, how's it going? We needed actually them to target us. Put this away. Oh, I guess the line is they have to go down a land every turn. Okay, so they conceded. That like they must have not drawn lands or something because we have sorcery locked out, and then they're gonna have to go down a land and then play it and then go down land. Okay, so that was the line. Like we have to choke them out essentially. I actually thought we were lost. We lost this game. I was very close to just conceding. But yeah, we found the winning line, which is Mike actually hinted at it, which is they go down to land, and if they don't hit land drops continually, they will lose. And it looks like that's what happened because between the collector oof locking out the expedition maps and what's it called, and Archon locking out Green Sun Zenith, I think that's what looked like it happened. But that was very lucky to be honest. Yeah, so for sure, Mike. I think it's a weird spot that I had not been in before because usually, like between Gris and Bog, you can deal with that. All right. So that said, that was a very interesting game. I think we probably don't want the Bog to be honest. I don't think it's great. Even though it can be okay, but I just don't think that's the kind of game we want to play. We definitely don't want the endurance. Uh, Collector Oof, let me look at my sideboard round to see if I normally bring it in. Actually, I'll leave it here, that's fine, for chat. Post, looks like I board it out normally. I just try to go fast, post board. That's like reasonable, I think. And then, probably like this. The rest seems okay. That's interesting. It should have popped up for you, that command Discord. I don't know why it didn't. Hmm. I know it worked earlier. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you broke. Yeah, I don't know why the Discord thing is not working right now. Um, Not great, but I think off the back of Cradle, I'll probably keep and just hope we draw well. All right, I do not know what you did, Ethan. I blame you. I'm just kidding. For some reason, none of the commands are working again. If somebody, one of the moderators, want to look into that, that would be appreciated. I do not know why none of the why any of the commands seem to be working at the moment. They worked earlier, and when I say earlier, literally, literally a few moments ago. I don't know why it's not working. Oh, I guess I'll post it from above, which is like probably better. All right, here's the above link, and then I'll just yield through this turn. It's a manual way of doing it. Yeah. So our hand could have potentially been really good if we had just drawn a one drop here. The green sun's real good though. So we can hoof earlier. That's a really good hand. A draw. We're short for lethal, unfortunately, but I do like where we're at the moment. One thing that our opponent could have is like Mind Break Trap. That is a card people would like to play against us. I don't think it's particularly effective most of the time, but people will try. I think here we just say this as a win condition, right? I think what I would like for a green sun target is like a pithing needle or whatever you want to pronounce it. That's green and a creature to shut off things like that. They can chasm, but the thing is we have to force out the chasm, right? So like there this is really a battle of two halves. What I mean by that is the first part is forcing out their chasm, and then the second part is like dealing with the rest. Because they're down to land, right? They do that. There's a chance I should have just played it. Actually, Mike has a good point. There's a chance I should have just played. Sure. There's a chance I should have just played. What is it called? The Wirewood and continue drawing because we have the Shepherd to threaten lethal pretty soon. But too late for that now. Okay, so here's my line. Um, this is actually kind of neat. I'm gonna target the expedition map and see if they respond to that. If they do, we hoof them, right? Are they gonna bog us? Wow. Interesting. I definitely did not expect the bog. Wasteland this that feels weird. So Mike, one second. I'll talk about that. So here they just lower their shields, and I think now we just hoof them, right? This is kind of great. I promise I will discuss this. Yeah, one second. That's a great question, by the way. I don't want to, you know, brush it off. Okay, so I didn't want to screw that up, but so they took the bait, right? They responded to the Vandal. We thought they were gonna blow up the map, to be honest, but they didn't. I guess they were afraid we're gonna hit the needle, and Gris is actually very important. But to answer your question, the reason why we don't run a Wasteland is it's really just for this matchup. Because against lands, I've found that it's kind of slow to tutor for, and we often don't have the time. And when we do, we're probably already winning if we've reached that kind of board state. To answer your question, Mike, but that's actually a very good question. I played Wasteland for a while. There's actually two applications besides the Tabernacle decks. So one is the Tabernacle. Thank you for the follow, by the way. I missed it already on the. Let me see if I can bring that back up. New followers. What is the easiest way to check new followers? All right, I missed it. I apologize. Um, Nevertheless, the you can realistically only tutor for the Wasteland in two scenarios in my case. One is very important, and this is like the Cloud Pose matchup. The other is against the combo matchups where you've already exchanged blows, so to speak, against them, and either play Thoughtseize or whatever, right? Like against maybe Reanimator, you've already like got a ley line down, and then you start attacking their mana. That's the other scenario where it will come up. But that's more obviously the late game. The haymaker matchup is really this matchup, but I don't think Wasteland at the moment. Um, yeah, so exactly, Mike. It's like situationally good to like, especially if you naturally draw, you can just mana screw some decks. But that's like more luck than anything else. If you want to like systematically take an approach to it, I found it's very good against posts because you have the time. Against Wasteland decks, sorry, not Wasteland. Against lands itself, I found it's you kind of have to draw it naturally. Or crop rotation for it. It's kind of hard otherwise. And again, against the Merit Lage decks, they are not going to walk into that. Obviously, if you tutor for it, like Karakas is better because in those matchups, they're likely to play around Assassin's Trophy. Yeah, exactly, Mike. But good question though about the yeah, Wasteland for a while. I liked it in the main deck. The problem is this main deck is pretty tight at the moment. Yeah, and I don't think Post is like a big enough influence over the metagame for me to play it at the moment. I know, obviously, Tony Murata is a very good player, but maybe the idea is just to dodge him if need be. And we're gonna mulligan this. So far, two matchups where I think Lair was irrelevant. But again, those are the matchups for tonight. Sorry. I don't think Levi is gonna be playing post too often, Ethan, in the near future. Um, I think Levi will be mostly playing either blue red or elves is more likely. I know there's definitely a nostalgia feel for Levi given that his first top eight in Legacy was with post, but I can't imagine he's gonna be playing it too much in the going forward, so to speak, right? Only because of how it lines up, not as great, I think, against Delver, but we're gonna want to force this out. The force draw out the force here. We don't actually care about this. I mean, it's great if it resolves, but it's even better if it draws out the force, right? Yeah, it's pretty busted. I think the only thing about Doomsday I'm a little bit weary of, Mike, is how much does the Delver matchup improve? With the Bragavan ban. I can't imagine it's great still. That would be my only concern about Doomsday. Obviously, I mentioned before my record against Doomsday on Elves lately has been very good, but I do also acknowledge that part of it is there's two reasons. But part of it is sometimes I play against Neo or Doomsday pilots trying to pick up the deck, so maybe less experience. And two, I do think some Doomsday players will underestimate this matchup and lose because they're not aware of the new sideboarding strategy against Elves, or with Elves against Doomsday, I should say. Yeah, so I think yeah, Doomsday is probably fine, but I think here probably just want to play this and see what happens. We're gonna dare our opponent to Murktide us here. I think we live with it. Like we're not gonna bog. I think we have to develop our mana. Yeah, Shepherd and Endurance the main game plan. Sure, this is like an irrelevant card against us. Well, mostly irrelevant. Lair actually was not kind of interesting. Would have been an interesting call there. Um, well, of course I draw this right now. Yeah, for sure, Mike. I from what I understand, yeah, the bulk, threatening life total is probably the hardest part, right? We are probably dead, but we'll see. What am I doing? I think here we get the lair. If they want to wasteland, so be it. Like we have to play aggressively, right? They may have to read that card. Like they can hold up wasteland, so we just have to play into it. But the game plan for elves at the moment is yeah, shepherd into endurance. Sometimes assassin's trophy to stone rain is like pretty good, or just to hit the oracle if they go for a non empty pile. But that's the general elf game plan until you get to turn 4 for natural order. And obviously discard is good too. So I am divulging my secrets to the Doomsday player here, but I think what I've realized is if you share information, the people sharing that information probably improve. So it's probably a net benefit to both parties overall. So I'm definitely a fan of that. All right, so they waste. I think they're probably still confused what this land does, but the fact that you attack with for a few points of damage is tough too, for sure. Yeah, the reclaimer or the meager beatdown plan can sometimes be relevant because that means the Doomsday player can't pass the turn. Um, Here we can bash for 2. I do not think it is worth it though. And I want to preserve our life points. So what I'm gonna do is um, just bash with everybody but the reclaimer, and then pitch the Verdant for a land for a cradle. Actually, this layer is highly relevant here. If our opponent bricks, we'll have a chance, right? Nothing we can do about that. Sure. I don't understand. Like, I guess they're playing around life gain or something. I don't know. But yeah, all right. So the layer would would have potentially been relevant there. It would have been 4 bashing for yeah bashing for 4 mana, I guess. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11. So we're a little short still, but that's okay. Oops, wrong card. Yeah, I think they slow roll, but I don't. I'm trying to think what like I don't even think there's a card that exists that we like. I get reclaimers, especially since we played a non-standard card already. I can see it being forced too, for whatever that's worth, because they know we're hellbent. There's there's a universe there where we don't play everything out, but I think given our hand there, did we mull this? I felt like we did. Yeah, we must have. That felt like an anemic hand, for whatever that's worth. So the run of foul is good. Remove. I like the one run of foul because that's another copy of like anti merit lage that doubles in this matchup. Um, Something that I will reveal on chat right now is um, a lot of people ask me, oh, how did elves become a lot better lately? What did you do to improve the Delver matchup? We didn't. We were a little bit short from what I counted. I think it was 4 from the lair, 3 from the reclaimer. That's 7. Plus another 4, so 11. So the 4 was the 2 from the oof, 1 from the heritage, 1 from the what is it called? 1 from the heritage and 1 from the arbor. So we were too short. I think this is probably pretty good. Yeah, I think they lose to like a shepherd there. If, but I mean, that's probably the only thing, right? All right, so if this sticks, we're just gonna be on team 3-4 going forward. If it doesn't, we're gonna hope that we draw one drop and into bog, right? Otherwise, the mana is like real screwy. This is probably removal though. I guess not. I think given this hand, we're gonna hardcast the endurance. We're just gonna try to extract more value, right? And then I'm playing around stifle there. The days is I live with it. That's fine, actually. This is a little bit awkward. I think we once and see. I like the Wirewood a lot here. And I'm gonna go ahead and tap it for mana and see what they do. Just developing the board really here. There's a universe there. I save it for the glimpse, but I think if you don't at least threaten that you're gonna do something on your board, the opponent is gonna be more willing to be aggressive, and we want our opponent to be playing a little bit scared. It's not so much to play around the days. It's more so to save it for the glimpse. But I kind of want to pressure, right? Like, if you don't have any board, like they're more likely to play aggressively, and I would rather play than play a little scared. Is the other thing. Not to mention this could happen, right? Like, they can bolt your arbor and say you're suddenly down mana. Sure. All right, that's an excellent draw. Could be a force here. Yeah, that's okay. Hey Dukes, how's it going? I am doing well. Thank you for asking. I think here we want to just main phase the endurance and just not deal with whatever nonsense they could have. Oh, appreciate the super big raid too, Dukes. Thank you. Dukes is the hero we need, right? Raid of like 99 people right now. So we are 2-0 in this league. Really 1-0. Our first opponent seemed like they had to leave. They conceded after game one. I think here we're gonna go ahead and try to take over the game with a Gris. Interesting. Okay. All right. That potentially changes my line here. So they have a land. They could have. This is kind of annoying. Sure. I think given what has just transpired, I'm just gonna get a visionary and then just play it safe. Oh, there's that layer of the Hydra, right? So for those of you tuning in, I am testing the layer of the Hydra right now as a threat, so to speak. See, the problem with the grist there is like if I minus, it's not great. Um, Just cancel. Also, we know the top card is endurance, so we want to draw that. One, two, three. I think we snap call. Actually, no. That's a mistake. They have a land. Ouch. Yeah, they tried to get us there. Luckily, wait, what just happened? I thought they submerged. Thank you for the follow, Dark Poet Bill. Now I'm really confused. What happened to? Oh, oh, the Zenith was okay. Never mind. I'm like spacing out for some reason. All right, that's the opposite of what I wanted. And the festivities would be real bad right now, but I don't think our boards they can play around. Hey, Will, how's it going? Yeah, you just came in the right time. It's like doing work too, right? Oh my God, I think it's gonna win us. Woo-hoo-hoo! All right, now we are in business. All right, for those who don't know the backstory, Will actually got me to play this card for tonight, and we just like shot our opponent for 8 right now. This is kind of nuts. Granted, the first 2 matches were not good for this card. I drew it once against Goblins, and it was, or I forget who it was, and it was just another green source. Yeah, win percentage is so far 100% when we activate, right? So that is kind of nuts. But now I'm kind of excited. We had our first action with this card, and oh my God, just like, fireball our opponent for 10 is pretty nuts. So shout out to Will. It is a card I had considered before, but I just assumed it wasn't good enough. But something I've learned is you don't leave stones unturned. And so far, that was quite impressive what we just did right now with Lair of the Hydra. And, you know, will a real, not Slim Shady, but will a real X-Whale stand up? Because that was his suggestion for tonight for sure. All right, so let's see if we can get game three. We lost game one because we got Delvered essentially, right? Like, it happens. And we'll see how we do here. Yeah, there's two X whales in the house here. I'm the fake one though. Just so there's no ambiguity. I am the fake X whale. All right, so this is just trying to hit land here, right? And then obviously the green sun to ramp. They daze, so be it. Sure. Did they mull? No. I guess they really did not want us to develop our mana. Actually, I have a better answer. They probably have no removal in their hand. That's more likely. Sure. Actually, yeah, that's more. So one good thing is because I have played Delver, I kind of am trying to play their hand too and know what is in from the perspective of their hand. And the only reason why I think you force it is because you don't have removal. I think here uh, we probably want to fetch first, play the Shepherd, and then Green Sun to develop the mana. Argument to be made, we sequence it the other way, but I think that's fine. If they have removal, they probably found it off the brainstorm. Yeah, more likely they don't. Oh, that's annoying. I'm like tempted to trade, but probably not. Could be a Murktide here for 5, maybe? Sure. It's a little bit problematic, I think, but we're going to be staring down a lot of damage. Oh, okay, that's good. Sure. Yeah, so Steam Vents could still be good. For those who don't know, Levi actually 4-0 with Steam Vents Delver in the prelim last night. For what's that's worth. Alright, now it's time to go off. If they have removal here, it is a little bit dicey. If we fire out the glimpse and they have removal and we don't hit it, I think we want to play it safe. Alright. Now we can fire out the second glimpse. Here I'm just bouncing 1 because what's it called? I want to be mana efficient because we have a triple glimpse already. So the more the more glimpses you have, the more you just want to play 1 drops instead of 2. The game's over, yeah. So our opponent knows what's up. Yeah. Um, I think technical play is important for these kind of games where you can't go infinite with the glimpse. So if you are in a bind where they can lethal you potentially next turn, which they can here, right? Like if this flips. I mean, some scenario like that. You want to make sure you have the black mana potentially for removal. And here we're just digging to go deep. And the important part was because we were in a triple glimpse chain, bouncing just a one drop back is probably the key thing to take away. The other thing was playing around removal, right? We don't know what's in their hand, but if it was something relevant, we don't want to just get blown out right there, right? If we leave with a double glimpse, that's why I live with one, just to test the waters. And because I felt like I was safe with my life points, I'm sorry, from a draw perspective, I could live with losing one draw there and playing around the removal spell. But I think overall we played tight there. I think, yeah, back. So, uh, 3-0 so far. I'm gonna bring up my list again, just for those of you tuning in from Dukes' chat. In addition to the Lair of the Hydra, which soloed the game too, and shout out to Will. Uh, I'm also testing the Mass Vandal. I've tested this in like small proximities before. It's like very good against like certain decks, Painter being like one of them. But trying to maximize the silver bullets. The crop rotation because I wanted something to pair with the Caracas. It's also good with Bog, right? And a fifth Guy's Cradle. So experimental board. The big reason why we're playing tonight is the Lair of the Hydra, which already won one game, so proving its value, right? I'm gonna take a quick 1 minute break, and then I'll be right back, and then we'll start another match. So yeah, I quick 1 minute restroom break, and I'll be right back. Oops, wrong one. Be right back. All right, I am back. We'll start queuing up for the next match right now. One thing I want to point out from the previous match is in game two when Lair of the Hydra, single-handedly won the game. Um, they did have the chance to wasteland it or the Cradle. What's important to note though is it is very dangerous to leave an elf player a guy's Cradle for a full turn untapped, right? Like from the perspective of my opponent, especially since they've never played against Lair of the Hydra before. Probably okay to just leave alone, right? Because we do have to spend mana to find another Cradle potentially. And like I said, we are really 2-0. Our first opponent seemed like they had to go. Or 2.5-0, whatever you want to call it, right? We're leading that game before they conceded. Yeah, so it was we drew it I think against Tarksar, and we didn't have time to do anything there because it was a faster matchup. It was real good here when we drew it the second time against. Ironically, a matchup I wouldn't think it would be good, but oof, I do not like this matchup. So Susurrus is known for playing a bunch of artifact combo like Serum Powder ish like Grim Monolith type combos with Mystic Forge. This hand is quite slow. I don't think this is gonna get it done against those kind of decks. We're on the draw too, and not doing anything really to turn 3, so I'm the mole. I don't think we can go to 5, and this is like I got a cradle. Probably good enough just to keep, but barely. And I think here we probably put the land back. I think we get the Reclaimer. Might be Mystic Forge here. Yeah. Ideally, we have a Green Sun. I don't think we could just mold to Green Sun though. I don't know. I don't think that's a winning line. That is my laundry machine, Ethan. Or something else. My wife's taking care of it right now. I don't think it's a laundry machine actually. Oh Jesus. Um. So a couple of things here, right? Like we can get Lair, but that's not gonna be enough. I think. I think we just want to just play everything to the board. Like I said, I don't think Mole to Oof is like a viable game plan. And most likely you can't get it to turn 3 anyways. Sure. And you have enough top decks where I think the percentages come out to be like you probably just would rather keep. This is gonna be real tough though with this Paradox engine that I don't think we're probably gonna beat. Prison Mike. That's a great Office reference if that's what you're referencing, Janky Ho. For those of you who have tuned in before, one of my all-time favorite shows is The Office. Yeah, so there's the people here who watch The Office that get that joke about Prison Mike. For those of you who like pop culture, also on the Ringers, what is it called? The Ringers is website I will sometimes go to for like pop culture stuff, but they had their rankings of top TV characters ever, and they had no surprise in a poll, like bracket stuff where I think it was like top 64 or whatever during like NCAA basketball weekend. they had Michael Scott coming in number one, right? Through the tournament. We're probably dead here, but I mean, what are you gonna do? I don't think we're favored against this outside of a turn two collective, which not that easy, right? Like we're most likely just dead here. They have what, one Mystic Forge, one key. I can't imagine we're gonna survive. I just like more information, which is all. Whether they're on the Echo version or not, like based on the link I just clicked on, looks like they're not. Okay, here's another Mystic Forge. I think we. If the chat wants me to concede, I will. I'm trying to see what their win condition is though. Like I know we're dead. Like there's a chance they fizzle, but it's like very unlikely from this point. I guess Karn to Ballista is like their win condition. Is that right? Okay. So good thing Romario's here. He's a known Grim Monolith aficionado. Yeah, they have like map a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, so we'll concede. I'll respect that in the interest of chat too. Like, and our opponent, I don't want to waste their time. This is like a measly league. I think we've already wasted maybe at least 15 seconds. I mean, obviously we talked about The Office being a great show, but we'll just concede. That's fine. I think here the Vandal is like potentially relevant if they have Ballista. The crop rotation, the C's probably relevant too. I don't think I actually like the Assassin's Trophy in this kind of matchup. Right. Obviously endurance not that great. I think the Gris is probably worth it just in case we need to kill Karn or something. The Bog not worth it. Um, I think this is the type of matchup where we kind of have to go fast, right? So Romario, did you watch The Office back in the day as well? I think Trophy's kind of slow to be honest. Um, like what are we trying to hit? Like besides Karn, and even if we hit Karn, they pass the turn. That's true. That's fair. Might be better than like a glimpse or something, or the visionaries. Yeah, for sure. The game plan is just like collect oof them. Trophy. Yeah, maybe it's worth it. I mean, we'll try it like for science, right? This is the experimental league. Hey, you're not the only one. What's it called? My wife. I won't say her name on the air here, but she also has the first few seasons on DVD. So I mean, that ages me out too, right? I think this is probably fine. There's an argument to be made. We don't even. Well, I don't actually think we want the glimpse, right? Let's undo that. I think we. Yeah, we just want to go low to the floor. I don't think we have time to glimpse. We're two and one. Actually, three and zero. Actually, I was gonna say 2-1, but yeah, 3-0. Really 2-0. I mentioned earlier, Sadra, that our first round opponent, if I go to league details, conceded because it looked like they had to leave. Is my guess. Um, it's too slow, in my opinion. I'm not gonna bank on this like getting there. This might be okay. So we're gonna deck thin first and then once. Ideally, the once just hits the collector roof and we just don't need to worry anymore. But we'll see. Ooh, the Vandal's pretty good here. That's fine. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Romari. Yeah, 57 is not too bad. I can't complain here. I think my line here is I'm gonna bash and see what they do. If they block, I'll vandal their ballista, I guess. Like they can kill it anyways. Sure, that's fine. I think the line here is I'm a little bit afraid of their mana, so I'm gonna go ahead and vandal their monolith. Oops. Yeah. It would suck here if they had another one, but we'll see, right? Sure. Leyline wouldn't matter against this version, but sometimes it does against the Echo version, right? Oh my god. Oh, shoot. Shoot, 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 shoot. So maybe we hit the key there, right? I'm not 100% sure. So Romario would probably know better than me. I think Romario has experience with. Yeah, for sure, Romario. That's exactly what we try to do here. Do you think the correct play is to hit the monolith or the key? Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get there either. We'll see, right? Or anybody else who wants to chime in. I just know that Romario has played these artifact decks before, but my logic was we didn't want them to have the mana, and then they can have potentially extra keys, but I'm not sure to be honest. What if we're supposed to hit the key or the Grim Monolith there? I mean, I don't know too much about Sussurers, except that they play this kind of deck. To be honest, I only Ooh, I think we're gonna get to turn 3. It's a miracle. I feel like there's more starting mana to untap than I don't know. All right, so I think we can well, let me see. Yeah, we do have a chance. I think we bash first. I think the Bayou. Yeah, for sure. I was just thinking about whether it makes sense for me to crop right now or not. The answer is probably not. In case we need the Arbor or something to block later. Ooh, constructs are gonna happen. Ooh, now I feel silly for not having that wasteland, right? Yeah, so the crop might be relevant down the road. For sure, Mike. I mean, I also don't expect to play against this to be fair, but definitely biting us right now. Ooh, that's quite good, I think. All right. So we'll do that. All right, we'll do it that way. We can block bounce at least now. At least until the saga gets out a pitting needle. Potentially. We do have to hit the mystic. Oh, that is a problem. Well, I guess we lost. Both teams played hard. I think now we're out of luck. I'm trying to think if we could have done anything differently here. Obviously, we get an untapped phase. I have to hit the Mystic Forge, but I don't think we're getting a second untap after this. Like, this contortion here was quite devastating. I'm trying to think if we did anything wrong. I feel like we probably played it correctly, but if anybody noticed or disagrees, I'm willing to hear, and I'm sure chat will be willing to hear arguments. Yeah, the Dice Factory version is pretty cool. That's for sure. Although Paradox Engine is a hell of a card, EDH wise, right? Again, not sure I could have done anything really differently at this match. Sometimes this is just how it turns out, right? Not really the type of match for Lair either, unfortunately. Yeah, I think I made the correct decisions when given time. Namely, you know, forcing the block and then us hitting the. I mean, you can argue to be made. Maybe I should have hit the key, but I think at that point it's just like a guess, right? There's like, I think they have like 7 keys or something, and then like 2 monoliths. So I went with the mana. Actually, we're just dead. This is like a million mana already, right? What am I doing? They have the kill already. So I apologize, chat. Should have probably conceded earlier. I just wasn't paying attention that they had the kill. We'll see if we can salvage this 4-1. If I could not play Elves, what would I play? Depends. To win or for fun? Steve, great question. If it's for fun, one deck I do like enjoying playing is Death and Taxes. That is a deck that I will play a lot on paper because it's kind of fun to beat down your opponent with like what looks like draft fodder, right? I say that jokingly, obviously, because I have the deck, but I think if I really just wanted to win, I probably would play. I know this is kind of sound lame, but I probably would play Blue Red Delver. Thank you for the follow, A Hurley. And the reason being is, especially since now the Ragavan is banned, I don't even need to pick copies up for paper anymore. Like, I haven't really updated my deck since COVID started, but I had like an old school rug Delver deck built with Goyfs, Delver obviously, and then you know I would probably just cut the Goyfs, play blue red now, and then play DRC, which I think is a very good card, and obviously Murktide Regent, which I mean the deck is pretty cheap now that Ragavan's banned. So we'll see how we can finish right here. Retiman. Pretty good. I think. Yeah, DNT. I think I just enjoy playing. I like it. Obviously has a hard time against combo, but if I'm just playing for fun, which does help me play better for whatever that's worth. We have 4 lands here, so not great, but and I'm gonna lead with the Hydra too. I think you have to because in case you draw a Cradle, it just kind of changes the math. Also, in case I want to play the Arbor, right? It wouldn't be the first time that's done, Ethan. Although Blood Moon and Reclaimer typically tend to be a nombo for whatever that's worth. But along a couple years, many years ago, almost 10 years now, actually maybe like 6, but it was a thing to register Blood Moon in Elves. At least on the East Coast, I think I saw. This has to be a creature. I think Visionary for sure, given the hand. And I think we just lead with ramp. If they kill it, they kill it. Actually, I screwed up. I said I was supposed to lead with the Lair of the Hydra, and then I did not. So, learning experience here, right? Like, you get... It's gonna bite me later on. Like, you have to lead with this because of sequencing. Otherwise, it's gonna come and play... Oh my... Okay, it doesn't matter. Our opponent is on Reanimator, so it doesn't even matter. I think did I mulligan my first hand? I did not. Sure. Alright, so I'm just gonna yield the turn. So it didn't really matter, right? Like our opponent's on Reanimator anyways, so my sequencing didn't matter. I think I kept just because I felt like it was okay. I don't remember what I saw off I think it was a Heritage as well. But yeah, not really not pre-board at least, a Lair of the Hydra matchup. Although post-board, I think it comes up. I used to concede to turn 1 Gristlebrand. This is turn 2 technically. But I found a way. I found that... Ooh. Alright. They will probably seize this if I... Okay, let me think about this. Yeah, I think we have to get the... there's an argument to be made that I use it because they're going to seize, but I think I want them to do that. And we have to just get lucky, right? If they don't seize, then we're going to get the Gris, but we might just be out of luck here because, yeah, Bloodstone seems better. Right, because of, ooh, that's good. So our opponent is giving us live outs now. Interesting. Sure. I mean, we're probably still dead, right? Because we have to handle the emissary first, and then they get reanimated. Like we would have to have kind of a nuts sequence of draws to beat this. We're not. It's not zero, but it's the good thing is against these reanimator decks. Um, sure. The good thing is against these reanimator decks, the games are quick anyways. So it's not like the previous round where, unfortunately, I probably wasted a little bit too much time, maybe a minute or so. All right, if this is not Green Sun or Gris. Okay, that has text, I guess. We're gonna go down to one, kill that. Go to 9. We'll see. Actually, go to less than that. All right. Probably still did unless our computer just royally screws up. It has to be natural or exactly, I think here, and they have to not kill the Gris, in my opinion. So they should go Gris into Grief into Gris, attack me with Griselbrand here, and then we're probably just drawing dead. If they don't attack the Gris smartly, then what we do is hope to top deck, hope they whiff, pump or plus Gris, natural order, and that's lethal. So we're not completely screwed, I guess. All right, that's now game over. All right, because we can't kill this the same turn. All right, onto boarded games now. I think the Vandal is not good here. Like, this seems underwhelming every time I try to play with it, so maybe that's a sign I shouldn't play with it. Here, oh, the Caracas should be coming in. I don't think we want the Visionary. So we boarded everything, like, but the Vandal and the Progenitus. I think our sideboard is like quite good with the ley lines against Reanimator. I think with this configuration, it's like more vulnerable, but might be okay. We'll see. This is for whatever it's worth. This is a Lair the Hydra matchup if in the late game because sometimes you have the Reclaimer and the up, and you have to close out fast. So this is a keep. A lot of it also depends. Like there's this sub game, right? Whether they think we have leyline or not. As a general thumb, so I think here I like the Birchlore better, in case I need to pitch the Heritage Druid. We need a green card here because that will allow us to slam Gris. Yes, that's exactly what we want. What this does is it allows us to slam Gris while holding Endurance up. This actually beats Show and Tell too, which is nice. So they might just be walking into it here. We'll see. Endurance actually one of the best cards printed for Elves that I didn't realize we wanted, right? Uh-oh. It might be Exhume. Alright, so that's good. I think the only thing now is we have to fade drawing the bog, but even then we're probably pretty ahead. We're gonna plus here, player land, attack. Uh, there's two things we can do here. We can either get the Caracas or we can get the what is it called? Or we can get the faster kill. I think we go get Lair for the faster kill because we have the grist to deal with the creatures already. Oh, I mean better lucky than good, right? So I think here we leave 2 mana up, and then we're gonna Lair here. This is actually pretty dope, to be honest. Like the clock is incredibly fast, and I think we might have stumbled onto something here, right? It's a 2-turn clock, like, and I think this is the real deal. Like, before they can draw out of it, right? You have a faster clock against combo. Granted, this type of combo Reclaimer is already very good, but sometimes you have the bog preemptively, and then you need a way to close out. And at least in this matchup, like the closing speed is just unreal. All right, so pretty impressive showing so far by Lair. Not so much by Vandal, and the crop is probably pretty good because we have the Caracas, right? And we have the Caracas and we have the Bajuka Bog, obviously. Also, it makes crop a win condition, which is relevant too. And at least so far, granted, this matchup is like quite good for Lair, but so far it looks pretty impressive. I think we have to keep. The ninth fetch Sager. So that is one other thing, right? Losing fetch really hurts, in my opinion. But we do have another fetchable now in the deck for whatever that's worth. Like, there are games where you run out of lands, and granted, that's probably mostly irrelevant, but um, can be a thing. But like I said, mostly irrelevant. I think here we play the Arbor, to be honest. It might be a Faithless Looting or Entomb here. We'll see. Alright, Faithless Looting, that's fine. I'm actually happy with that. If we pull this out, I'll be pretty happy with the league because it'll be a 4-1. And I think the 1, there was not really anything we could have done, right? Unless we're playing like Force of Vigor or something. I don't think there was really anything we could have done. This This is an interesting line. I don't think we need to hold up Assassin's Trophy. I think we can go ahead and play the Lair untapped here. Play the Shepherd and dash. Also, because this is the first time I'm playing with Lair, some of the play patterns I need to get used to, namely sequencing this early because you don't want this coming in tapped. Obviously an awkward draw, but I think overall okay, right? Oh jeez, what a hand. Okay. So we have the natural order. We can natural order for Grist and do that. Because what this does is it beats show and tell too, right? Hold on one second. Uh, so Art, how many times have you had come in tapped because of Arbor? What do you mean by that? So the sample size is real low. I think this is the third game that we've drawn it naturally. It's come into play. I think tapped one. Oh, actually, none of one of the times, or would have come in one of the times. But we also missed sequence. Oh, sure, sure, sure. Because you green sun for it. That's what you mean, Ari. Good question. The sample size is real low, but it hasn't happened yet. So that to answer you. All right. So the nice thing about this is the layer is gonna bash pretty hard here. I think here, do we care about? Probably just could do this to be honest. I think we probably have it locked up, but we'll see. Like the Grist should be able to handle most things put into play right now if they show and tell. And then they're gonna see our hand is stacked. They might concede seeing this. So 4, 5, 6, 7. We actually have lethal next turn too. I don't think they realize it. Yeah, this is overkill now. So pretty cool. Like, is that the alt art? Let me see. If it is, I apologize. I have to switch it up. We'll what is it called? Look at the previous deck here. Oops, wrong one. So card view. Let me see. What is the normal art? I'm gonna bring that up here for chat. Layer of the Hydra. All right, so here is the card, and what is the alt art I'm thinking of? Oh, are you talking about this one? This is kind of cool, I guess. Yeah, I think this is like, I don't know if I would run this personally. It's kind of cool that Hydra is like progenitus, right? Like that is one thing to that thematically is on scheme, I guess, or on theme. But yeah, 4-0 with this list, and quite frankly, if I'm being honest, like I I actually thought this was gonna be not good enough, and at least from the very very small sample size so far, I think it was. I think we saw it a total of 3 times, and it was good in two. One of them it was not. It was okay. Like it at least wasn't a liability, right? But it does require sequencing this probably first, and maybe that's an issue against wasteland decks because they can waste this and whatnot. You can't play this freely, but playing this untapped. Sorry, playing this tapped is probably a big problem, right? So you probably have to lead with this into Arbor to sequence it correctly. I'm sure the sequencing from our league could have been a little bit tighter, but shout out to the real X Whale for pushing me to play this card, uh, or at least trying the card because I was a little bit hesitant before, and he brought it up again today. Well, not again, but for the first time today, and something I had been meaning to do and just never got around to. And in the spirit of testing, it was quite impressive. I think so far, at least. The Mass Vandal, pretty janky. I think. Probably not gonna solve our lands issue, but we will see. I think we're gonna for the spirit in the spirit of experimenting. We'll that's a tongue twister. We'll go ahead and try it again, right? But I think it was quite impressive. Like it single-handedly won that match against Delver a couple rounds back, where we 10 balled our opponent. Like cradle into cradle with that card is kind of nuts, and especially if they don't see it coming, it's just another angle of attack that they have to worry about. Like we're if you play elves, you're already accepting that you have to play tight. Like Elves is not an easy deck, and that's what just comes with the territory, right? If you don't want to mess up if you don't want to lose because of mistakes, this is probably not the deck for you. Like you have to be able to play tight, and the where the benefit comes in this being a difficult deck is your opponent will rarely play perfectly because they don't understand all the nuances of the deck, so to speak. I think here we just keep pretty reasonable hand otherwise. But yeah, this is quite a potential discovery, right? Like so far so good at least for the layer of the Hydra, which I never thought I would be saying to be honest. All right, we're playing against what looks like Hogak. I'm not 100% sure, obviously, but all right. So let's do it this way. We're playing towards a natural order here, or Green Sun Zenith. Unfortunately, we drew the card that we were not playing towards. Oh, okay. I missed a point of damage there. My fault. I'm sure that's gonna bite us now, but we'll see, right? Wasteland. What is going on? What is going on? Is this zombie tribal maybe? I think we have to cycle the glimpse right now, as painful as it is. And then obviously the deck thinning that comes along with it. We're playing towards a natural order. The Wasteland is very surprising though. We get 2 draws, likely 3. We could get bombarded, which would be unfortunate. Untapping doesn't do anything here. I could endurance, but not sure that does anything. I could just endurance, just a cycle. That's probably okay. The wasteland is like odd. I would be less inclined to endurance here, but the wasteland tells me they're probably not on some kind of combo. Although famous last words, right now they're gonna like bridge from below me, and I'm gonna regret it. Okay, great. Argument to be made to bounce one of the visionaries, but they probably have therapy, so for whatever that's worth. All right, we're gonna play it safe. I don't want to just die to the altar, so if we don't draw anything relevant, we have to again the deck thinning coming into play, right? I think we have to play it safe here and get the collector oof. I do not want to just suddenly die. And then I think this time we can probably just bounce the visionary. Mm, I think we take two here. I don't want them to therapy and then I lose both visionaries. That would be a disaster. Like the damage is unlikely to matter at this point. Like we can fog their, we can chump block if need be. I like that they're not gonna get through on the ground. Like they, I think we're probably really favored from here. Like, but the problem that scares me is the fact that they have wasteland means this is not some kind of stock list. For whatever that's worth. So like I'm obviously scared of getting comboed out, but I think we can win any kind of fair game. Oh, you did, Jason. How was that? Must have been interesting, I'd imagine. Um, Smallpox gap. Interesting. I think here we just like play out all the visionaries, right? I think. Yeah, I think we can do it this way. Thank you for the follow, Pinata boy. I think we should be ahead, but we'll see. Sure, they know about the visionary. That's fine. Obviously, like if they sequence it correctly. They attack first to see if we bait. It's like we bite and then bounce up more visionaries. What did they name here? They named natural order. That's safe. Oh, bridge, bridge. Uh, so we used the endurance earlier. Again, the wasteland throwing me off, right? Like, don't really know what's going on. I still feel like we're probably favored. I think the only way we lose here, we get comboed out. I think we can beat their board stall. Sure. Okay, there's the smallpox that Jason's referring to. Luckily, the altar is offline, right? Like this is like huge in this matchup because from a not schematic, strategic standpoint, you don't have to worry about just dying out of nowhere. I don't. That could be relevant, but we'll see. Do they have that main? It's interesting. I think we bounce one because we need the mana. Obviously, we just want to draw natural or just end this game. I think here we probably just dig for the cradle. We didn't see it, unfortunately. Heritage is actually quite good, though. Actually, hold on. We're gonna do it this way. Yeah, that would be quite good against us, unfortunately. What is going on? Let me see if I have both active still. I do. Alright, so let's do it this way. Yeah, we have our kill con. That's good. Although we have to get through these blockers, but um, there is the natural order that we were longing for. All right, I just need to make sure I do the math and we don't accidentally die here. I think we probably just play this, play the Arbor, and go. The big difference I think about playing this version of the deck compared to the traditional list is a lot of times in these kind of board states, the way of thinking is different. You don't think about so much how to win the game. You think about how you avoid losing the game or what does the loss look like, and you prevent that from happening. All right, quad block. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think we just take this out. Is this a zombie? No, it's an avatar. Sure, that's fine. I think we take that out. Probably take this out, and then we go to. Am I missing? I don't want to just die, so I better just block with this just in case. Like I don't some weird thing like collective brutality or whatnot. Yeah, it has to be. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay, so we played it safe. That like I just want to. I'm trying to think how we lose here, and the smallpox would be one way. Like I feel the game is already locked up, so that's not what I want to draw. The good thing though is I think we still have like a million damage. All right. Harder than it needs to be, but we played it safe, right? I'm just trying to think how we lose this game. Like I felt like we are pretty much in control. Just trying not to accidentally lose. All right. The Karak is obviously good. I think there's a chance the Vandal. Actually, probably not. Because you're not. You have to have that on board, right? If they have the altar, you probably just lose. Endurance obviously really good here. Crop obviously very good here. I think Gris is not the right matchup, and I think this is not really a visionary matchup. Like this is probably the most iffy one. I'm trying to think. Is there a scenario we probably want this card? I mean, maybe, but like I think if they play altar, we probably die the same turn in most cases. So probably not. I mean, there's a scenario where they just run out altar, right? But we'll see, right? I'm all about not having dead cards like post board, and I feel like that's a chance. There's a chance. Oops, excuse me. That's gonna be dead. For those of you tuning in, I don't know, Jason, if you were here earlier. The main tech that we're trying tonight is in the sideboard, Mass Vandal and the crop rotation. This is like a full-on experimentation night, and obviously, I don't know if you saw it earlier, but the layer of the Hydra was quite good in the first league, and definitely worth exploring some more. The layer of the Hydra is taking the place of the ninth fetch. Anybody who knows me knows am very conservative with my mana bases, and I think this is a little awkward. Probably. Ugh. I think probably. I'm trying to think. How often is it good sorcery speed? Um, I think it's a little bit slow to get Reclaimer, so I'm probably just gonna keep. And we'll see what they do, right? Like, it may or may not be relevant. Obviously, we hit a Reclaim. Oh, okay, never mind. We don't even. I was gonna say, obviously, we want to hit a Reclaimer, but it doesn't matter here with a Bog in hand, but we just drew the best possible, anyways. Alright, speaking of the devil, Elvish Reclaimer himself, what do I want to do here? I think we want to save the Green Sun for the oof. And then, obviously the Cradle is like insane here too. Um, but I think we can afford, well, let me think. This is a little bit tough. Reclaimer gets the others, but do we have the time is the thing. Um, Probably. Given that we have the endurance backup. Yeah, it depends if you count card rotation as a one drop, right? Like, I personally think Elvish Reclaimer is now the best one. Well, actually, it was. I think even with Ragavan, it was already the best one drop in Legacy. Um, it's has an extremely high floor and ceiling, unlike some other cards. Like Shepherd has a high ceiling, but also an extremely low floor. Sure. Oh yeah, Pox would be like real bad here. Same thing with Ragavan, right? Like very high ceiling, also medium to low floor, right? I think here, what we're gonna want to do is protect whatever we play, and I think by that, I'm just gonna run out the symbiote. Also, who knows if they have Plague Engineer? Like, this is already a strange list, right? Hmm. Ooh, okay. Interesting card. Do we want to respond to that? Probably not. We can just bog them naturally. It's fine. If we want to hit our thing, so be it. Oh, jeez. I did not expect that, though. Oh, we got super punished, but Say la vie, right? I actually think it might be okay. We're gonna take 16 here, but oh man, that is my mistake. All right, we're gonna take 16. Ugh. Actually, we kind of want them to wasteland because we have a Caracas in our deck. Sure, that's good. That's actually lucky for us, to be honest. Pass here. That is sure. This is gonna be rough. I potentially screwed up and should have like answered this, but I mean, how are you gonna know, right? I'm gonna do it after attacks are declared, so that they can't pitch the Hogak. We might just be dead regardless. Actually, that's not true. We have the endurance. All right. We need a land here that's not a fetch. All right, we did not get that. Well, yeah, we didn't get there. I feel like maybe we messed up somewhere along the way. Well, hard to say. I'd have to look at it again in detail. I felt like that game was winnable, and we potentially human error, right, or pilot error and punted. Um, we do have the bog. I think that's like reasonable. We have a quick natural order too. The wasteland is just like really interesting from our opponent's sideboard or game plan. The Dark Blast doing some work, but that's not really why we lost, I think. I think with another life, we potentially stabilize. Again, with the Dark Blast here. The thing about Dark Blast is it's like free pseudo card advantage for our opponent. Or actually, it's more like Lotus Petal because it feels their yard. Sure. We're not blocking, so we might as well attack. We really needed to hit land. I mean, a creature there, but it's just kind of awkward. If they are hard casting Bloodcast, I think we're okay with that. We're not gonna block, and then end step fetch. That's actually a good draw. We don't have lethal, but this is actually a good draw. We keep drawing what I mean to fetch, though. We tapped out. Maybe we should have bluffed at least something, but I think it's important to play to the board in case they have something like removal or some or two removal spells. So that's still lethal. Sure. Or if they like Hogak us here, we can like kill through it, right? Yeah, looks like that's what they're doing. Sure. I think we have the game. Ooh, it's just barely. That's actually kind of funny. I didn't even bother to do the math. I just assume it's lethal, and it's actually just barely lethal. Hey, hey, Dave. Yeah, I am. I'm trying to lair the Hydra right now. So I'll bring it up actually since we just won. It's a land that I've been meaning to try and just like never got around to it because I assumed it wasn't good. And at least so far tonight, it's been quite impressive. Okay, let me do another angle so it's easier to see. Here's the card. It's a man land that comes in play mostly untapped. Produces green, which is the important part, right? Like something like Westvale Abbey, which I've tried in the past. It's bad for two reasons. One, it doesn't do anything opening hand. And two, Westvale Abbey, I have been blown out by bounce effects. So that is another problem with that card. This card, not so much, right? Like they bounce it, but that's okay. You lose really your mana for the turn. Whereas Westvale Abbey, you just lost your whole board. All right. But yeah, I think what really prompted the real X Whale to push me to play this or try it was because um, his logic, and I think his logic is very sound, was that unlike Westvale Abbey or something like that, this is more not free but less of an opportunity cost because it produces green and comes in play untapped, unlike some of the other manlands. And the ceiling is quite high too, right? If you like fireball your opponent, so to speak, for 10, which we did in one of the matches in the previous league. I think, given our hand, probably the Heritage Druid. I think, given that we drew the second fetch land now, probably just deck thin. If I had not, I would have saved this fetch land for what is it called? I would have saved it for what was I gonna say? Dryad Arbor, but I think we have a second one, so it's fine. I think Esper Sentinel may see a lot of play now that Ragavan's banned because it's quite good in the blue mirrors. And I know there's something I know about legacy players. They always want to edge in the blue mirrors, right? All right. I think what I'm gonna do here is play the Shepherd, play the Cradle, and then pass, and then set up for our next turn. If they have the removal spell, that's I mean I don't think I care, right? Sure. So if they have the removal spell, what happens is they're gonna have to force our Glimpse of Nature, and I don't really mind if that happens. I'm gonna end step. This is the line that actually is very. Ooh, that's annoying. Very important for elves. Where you end step Reclaimer for Arbor and essentially Rampant Growth yourself because it counts towards the Guy's Cradle. All right. I think now we just paid both tax. It's annoying, but gotta do what you gotta do, right? I think we definitely want to draw two here. So, and I think we're gonna thin. Since we have a double glimpse, and we're not gonna play against around something like, um, we're not gonna play around something like gut shot here in this case. The game is probably over, like in all honesty. Yeah. We even have the endurance in case it matters. What am I gonna pitch though in this case? Probably don't need this. I should have pitched the reclaimer, but it's fine. We're so far ahead, it's not gonna matter. I kept it as play around Wasteland, which presumably they're on because they have Esper Sentinel. Like people like build these tempo shells, and there's a running joke that. All right, so the writing's on the wall. There's a running joke that legacy players be like, "Oh, I brewed a deck and it's just Delver." All right, I'm gonna change the filter back to the way I'm used to. I think given this kind of like tempo-ish deck, I don't love endurance. To be honest, I don't even know they have Murktide or not. They most likely have Wasteland. It's. I want to think about whether we actually want the natural order package. My guess is probably not. Oof seems good here. So does Vandal actually, because of GT potentially, or Cauldra Complete. Um, I don't think we want the run afoul. Trophy is definitely really good. Uh, I don't think they're using the graveyard, so endurance doesn't really do anything. It's possible we keep the natural order package in though, because there's actually enough room, right? Like, I think we can cut the heritage druids, um, which doesn't do anything here, and then we just have this. This like seems pretty reasonable. We don't want Archon in this matchup because of potentially Teferi 3 and it doesn't beat Cauldra, right? So I think this is like reasonable. This is actually going to test whether we really want. Ugh. I think we have to keep, unfortunately. A general good rule of thumb is if you're thinking about whether to mull or not, think about the card that you would put back. Would you keep that 6? And the answer here is an overwhelming yes. That's a very good draw. As usual, we're gonna lead with Reclaimer because we have to put our opponent in a scenario where they have to respond, or sorry, not or, and punish them if they don't respond, right? Like in this case, we can ramp with Railroad Reclaimer. Sure. Mana bases are incredibly greedy at the moment. So those Blood Moon players out there might be your time. I think the line here is Shepherd into Arbor and use this to ramp essentially for a turn. They're almost certainly gonna kill the Shepherd, which is fine. If they want to force the Glimpse, I'm okay with that. What do you think they do? They allow this to go when you have like 5 cards in hand. Like, I don't think they can afford to not to force Glimpse. Sure. So likely scenario what happened is maybe they put back an equipment and then what? What is going on? Place Flooded Strand, cast Brainstorm, activate Flooded Strand. What is going on? They should have put their equipment back and fetched it. That doesn't make any sense. Unless they click through it. But, I mean, I don't know. I think here we play it safe. We have actually, oops. That's. I was gonna say we have a Progenitus, but we don't. Awkward. Alright. Definitely awkward right there. That is one reason to put back, by the way, to the Progenitus, to Mole. But this should be the Cauldra, I think. Yeah, that's fine. Very awkward for us, for sure. What's killed? The Reclaimer? Sure. Yeah, I think our opponent screwed up, right? You're supposed to put the card back if you're gonna... Alright, now they're dead. Nevertheless, we'll take it. Yeah. Very nice, for sure. Very nice. Alright, take a quick restroom break. Maybe stretch my back a little bit. I'll be back in maybe a minute. I hope everybody has a nice time. Alright, BRB. Alright, I am back. As we queue up, I'll go ahead and discuss one thing about the previous matchup. We boarded in the Mass Vandal. A lot of people, when I suggest this card to them over Rex Sage, will say, "Oh, you're not gonna have You're not gonna consistently have a creature in the yard to exile." But the one big reason to play this kind of disenchant effect is because of Umazawa's Jite. And the difference between 3 mana and 4 mana to Green Sun is huge. And if your opponent has an active Jite, you're gonna have a creature in the yard anyway. So at least against these at least against these at least against these Stoneforge decks, I think it's a straight upgrade. It's a little bit worse against these Omniscience decks because you're not going to realistically board it in. Because, again, you're not going to have anything in the yard. But I think that is more corner case than like Stoneforge decks or because of DNT and whatnot. The other thing is against a lot of these Ragavan decks, sorry, not Ragavan decks, these Saga decks, they often have Ballista in these decks, these artifact-based decks. So that's another reason why it'd be cheaper, right? Also, before the Saga decks would run blue-red or Bolt. So if they are on the red version, or red removal, I should say, again, it's just like straight up 1 mana cheaper than Rex Sage, which I think, me personally, is not a very efficient legacy card, and I personally don't think it's like playable, right? Like, I would rather play, I think, something like Outland Liberator than Rex Sage, which me personally, I don't think the card's like very good. Especially with the printing of Collector Oop that, covers a lot of this, the overlap already, right? Not perfect, obviously, because Rex Sage can kill enchantments and like things like Trinisphere and whatnot, but mostly cover. And Collector Oof helps against a lot of the hard matchups otherwise, or otherwise hard matchups. I can. There's many times where I'll like Collector Oof game one, and then our opponent just like stole a game we otherwise would have lost. All right. Ferox. Our opponent, I think, is often on like depths. His hand is not very good. It's already like shaky. I'm gonna mull. Um, this is like better. I'm gonna play in general, unless I know they're on artifact deck. I'm not gonna keep like my silver bullets. The rest of the hand is like solid though, for 6 at least. All right, they're on some kind of control deck, I believe, based on the Triumph start. All right, let's see. We take the one playable card, and I think here we just ramp. Modern deck. When in doubt, just lead with Green Sun, right? We just want to get out of the gates fast. I should have did it the other way in case they want to kill the ranger, right? Though they can force the ranger principally, but I think this is probably correct. There are some random players that will just like force the first thing they can because their logic is, oh, I'm not gonna get to force it later. But yeah, him is always good. Could be removal right now in response. The fact that they did not though is interesting. There's two things here, right? And in general, I want to be mana efficient. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this. So I can play the Once Upon a Time. I always forget what land is this. Okay, it looks like this is Jeskai colors. The names for the triomes are still counterintuitive for me. I think this is that like Primeval Titan deck, but I could be wrong. That has like a big top end. Also, let's see if my commands are still working. It didn't earlier. All right, there, it's working now. I think the Reclaimer. Bauble. That's an interesting one. Well, now I wish I took the sure. Now I kind of wish I took the Wirewood, but they forced it, so that's okay. I'm actually, yeah, Witherbloom command was actually not too bad, Ethan, for whatever that's worth. So, I think we're okay so far. Did we mulligan? I felt like we mulligan. Yeah, we did. I was like, how come we're so down on so many cards? DRC, interesting. Alright, let's see what they exile. Savannah, sure. Ugh. People, I think players are realizing that this is actually secretly the best creature in the deck. So now it doesn't survive as much as it used to. I used to run out Shepherd because people are just like petrified of the card when it doesn't do anything a lot of times. Ooh, that's a good card. Jesus. All right. So interesting. I guess both players are hell bent now. Um, I was really hoping to land that so that they have to chump, but it is what it is. If this is Euro, okay, that's fine. Huh, that's not bad. Um, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or one short, unfortunately. I don't think endurance is the call here. I think the call here is visionary. Nah, well, it's like possible. The thing is like I found Dragon Race Challenger can actually dump the yard quicker than endurance. And I don't think, yeah, I don't actually like endurance against DRC because, like I said, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, we're a little bit short. I know, but like they can actually one cantrip seems bad for you, so I don't like it personally. Okay, I am rewarded now. Like I don't think they're gonna kill me in 3 turns. It is what I'm betting on. Like I'm not afraid of the clock. Okay, I'm more afraid of that though. Oh, all right. So we have time to endurance if need be. We'll see what we draw into. Oops, I don't want to do it that way. I mean, yeah, that's what's happening right now. Oops, all visionaries. All right. I know, right? It's very saddening for me right now. Earl's gonna come down. Sure. We got super punished for not getting their endurance, but I feel ooh interesting that they did not cast Earl. Maybe that means they have Hold Reacher. Yikes! Not what I want to see. Sure. All right. I think the line here is we're gonna upkeep Bog. We cannot afford for the Earl to come down, so. Yeah, I don't think endurance is the play there, right? Like, so the thing is, like, we're only playing good cards, and I'm betting that my deck can handle a couple of DRCs within 3 turns, right? Like, that's the logic. Also, right now, kind of nuts. Well, oh my god. This is like an embarrassment of riches right now. Yeah, the lair is gonna be huge, as our former presidents would say. This is nuts right now. What's gonna happen? Sure. Um, do it again. Yeah. Oh my God, this is. Oops, all Kratos paying off dividends with his lair here, right? Things were about to get real crazy right now. Oops, all good cards, yeah, for sure, right? Turns out Lair of the Hydra is the real deal, I think. Every time we've had it, it's been very impressive. All right, we gotta, settle down a little bit, get off that high for a second. But let's see. Given that they have Stifle and did they have Wasteland? I think they did, right? Put Wasteland here. Yeah, they did. Um, there's an argument to be made. Yeah, I think we played the mid-range game against them for sure. I don't think we want a natural order against a. Yeah, we saw the Wasteland. I'm looking at the side. I don't believe we want to play. Given they have Stifle and Wasteland, want to play towards the go big, so to speak, with Progenitus plan. I think I'm play low to the ground. Their clock it wasn't that fast though, but they do have DRC. Um, Argument to be made that we do we want Assassin's Trophy? We probably want the Caracas to be honest. Yeah, I do. I know, Romari. I'm just thinking through the line here. They seem to be like a mid-range deck. I don't think we want Trophy. It doesn't seem great. And Heritage Druid is gonna walk into a sweeper. I feel. So I think we go big, and then we'll see what happens. They don't have like a super fast clock. I think we can just go down to 0 heritage. It's just not needed, and then we can deal with the Karagas if need be, right? I don't really like two, right? You're either all in or not. I think Romario. This is fine. I really don't like heritage against these black or white or red decks, right? I think we take the land for sure, and then just fetch now. The good thing is like if they answer our green sun like we think they will, we can just like play 3 creatures next turn and just vomit our hand, so to speak. We actually want them to answer this because if they don't, I'm a little nervous about like end of festivities. If they want to trade, I don't want to trade. There are exceptions where I will trade, but I think given that we're a little bit susceptible here to wasteland, probably not. So let's see what they do. I'm gonna force this out and see what they do. They've got to force, right? Like, ooh, nice, very nice. Uh, the fact that they haven't done anything is very scary. Like, I'm talking about like end the festivities scary. This is a good hedge though against it. Especially if we draw another reclaim. Ugh, not the card I want to see. Yeah, pretty much. This is an ancestral recall that we just had right now. I'm expecting to get my board swept here. Especially if they pass the turn and do nothing. Yeah. Ah, man. It's not good. Like, they got to have it. Like, how can they go 2 turns and just not do anything? Like, what could possibly be in their hand that they would keep otherwise? It's gonna take off 3 creatures, but we also drew 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So not the end of the world. It's not a static caster because they just tap mana. The only thing I can think of is they try to stifle us, and their hand is stranded with stifles. If it's not in the list, it's got to be, right? Like, I think if they end the festivities here, we will bounce probably the shepherd, but it's not for sure, right? Like, there's an argument to be made. It's Birchlord too. This is awkward. The other two are like okay though, right? We're just like slam natural orders. Sure. This might be it here. White? Okay, so I think we're in business then. Wow. Okay, I am really confused now why they kept their hand that they did. Maybe it was a containment freeze and they didn't want to reveal it. Doesn't really make sense to me. That is a mistake. Actually, I'm gonna do this correctly. Alright, we're pretty ahead. I think here we play that. That gives us another mana. Actually, we'll do this. If we play the Arbor and pass, that doesn't, our Reclaimer doesn't protect it, so I'm gonna sequence it a little bit differently. Oops, wrong one. All right, with this sequencing, outside of Stifle, I think we have to kill. We don't really care about this. My gauge on how fast their clock was turned out to be accurate, and the tiebreaker was the Earl. All right, so they play it now. I think I don't know. They're trying to get greedy or whatnot in this case, but I just drew a whole bunch more because they didn't do it that way. Not to mention the Reclaimer is untapped, so they actually only hit 3 creatures and four instead of 4 here, right? I think here we have the Birch Lord, so I'm not gonna bounce that. There's argument to be made for the Shepherd. I think we just want to draw cards. Sure. Again, I don't think we care about that card at the moment. Don't think we want to get stifled again. So I'm just gonna do it this way. It feels like they have another stifle. That's a very good draw. Sure. We still have another few turns, so I think that's okay. All right, thanks, Ethan. Take care. So we're at 4 this turn. Still enough time for a natural order for lethal here. We really want to draw a Cradle, but it might not happen. Sure. Um, sure. All right, we have lethal. Okay, even better. It doesn't really matter what we get here, but yeah. So the important takeaway from this matchup is using life as a resource. And both games, right? We're not really that scared of this clock, and we just like, okay, we'll just take 3 every turn. It's fine. We're forcing our opponent to have to adhere to our game plan, and we're not going to adjust to theirs. The exception to the rule is, and it's kind of free, is Uro is a must answer, but we do have the Reclaimer, and we board it into the sideboard plan of Endurances. So I actually think we board it perfectly here, right? All right, pretty good, I think, game there. Again, for any new viewers coming in late here, I want to bring up the deck on what we're trying tonight. Trying in the main deck the Lair of the Hydra. It was quite good the few times excuse me, the few times we've had it so far. And then in the sideboard, instead of the ley lines, which I normally, don't feel safe without in leagues, trying the Mass Vandal hasn't been great so far. Maybe that's an indication of like we don't need it. Crop Rotation, haven't really had the matchups for it either, but would have been relevant if we drew it. I think it's probably okay to continue to keep testing though. The Lair of the Hydra has felt quite good though, as a top end haymaker for Elves Reclaimer. Also, I want to give some thanks out to chat right now. Namely, Ethan coming around, Romario being here just for the support. I think most people know Ethan is already an elf player that is, rapidly rising in the ranks, so to speak. Ethan had a great 5-0 with Inigo Runcore recently on stream with the Jund version. Romario has also been playing some elves at his LGS and online, and recently actually got his first 5-0 without any assistance. I think it was last week or the week before. I don't remember which. But again, like some great young minds. And I say that as a joke, obviously, because Romario is like myself, roughly in terms of age, and I'm an old geezer, right? But yeah, I think the deck has felt so far very good today. We had the one loss to the artifact deck, and I'm not sure there's anything we could have really done about that other than play like Force of Vigor, which I rather not, right? I think certain metas like Eternal Weekend, it was a good call. I ran 3 that weekend because I expected 8 cast, and not that you need help against 8 cast, but it's kind of free. And DNT to be very good or popular. And it helps in the lands matchup, which is the real reason I ran it, right? Like, it helps in the lands matchup, and it has applications against 2 popular decks, so I thought it was worth it then. As a general rule of thumb, doesn't map very well, but definitely a tool that I have brought out from time to time. I definitely got like some players who did not expect it, because like sometimes 4 mana kill 2 things is pretty good too, right? In the hardcast mode. All right, let's see if we can continue our streak here. I think this is good. So I think the big thing that I've learned is so far, kind of have to lead with this on turn 1 if you have it, right? Like because of play pattern reasons. Here's one of the rare times I won't lead with Green Sun, and the logic behind that is because we don't have a payoff. So something for newer players to, or anybody trying to pick up the deck to see. Sure. And I lead with this because if they have removal, Birch Sword is better. Alright, I think given our hand, we can either play the Wirewood and the Birch Sword, but I think playing the Visionary here is better. Argument to be made, we play the Bayou, but I think that's fine. In case they have like something like back to basics, or something strange. And we get rewarded here, right? We draw the Glimpse that we... The reason why I live with Visionary there is in case I draw the Glimpse too. So here we're gonna fire off the glimpse for value, and see what they do. Sure, that's fine. Alright, so our opponent sees the writing on the wall already. What do they pitch to the force of negation? Force of will. They seem to be on some kind of fair blue mid-range deck. They probably know that this is going to be a hard matchup for them. We're just going to grind them out, right? The writing's kind of on the wall. They're down to 2 cards already. Did they mull? Maybe they did. They did. So they really mulled a 5. So maybe that's why. It's to be honest, it's like respect. I think more so than anything else from our opponent. I think our opponent probably recognizes our username, and maybe that's why they yielded the quick concession, so to speak. I think I kind of like how we boarded in the last round for this round too, because we didn't see much. One kicker to that though is if they are on the combo, then I'm not gonna. Then it's kind of bad for us, right? When I say the combo, I'm talking about the Days Undoing combo. And we didn't see anything, so I don't know what that means. I think, given that we didn't see anything, I don't think we want the Caracas here. I think given that we didn't see anything, we'll try boarding in the mid-range package, but there is a good chance that we get hosed if they have the Undoing combo. If they do, we should be boarding in Thoughtseize. But yeah, we're just gonna take a guess. Endurance is better against their mid-range plan, though. I don't know I don't know if Force of Negation tells us anything. I'm like a little bit scared that they're playing the combo list. I think here. I think here we take the lair. Could be relevant down the road. Also, it means we don't draw it by accident, right? I think we have to draw. That land is actually crucial here. Actually, can't. That's an accident. Mm-hmm. This is kind of cool. We're gonna get to do this for free. All right. Yeah, that you just gave me a free 3/4, which is pretty nice. I think our opponent just like did not want to deal with our shenanigans anymore. I don't blame them. It feels bad when the card that's supposed to be good against us just backfires, right? Right, exactly. You get a free 3/4 out of it. Suddenly, planeswalkers are off the board and whatnot. Like it's just a mess, right? Yeah, I think we are, at that magical point where, on the cut precipice Ooh, Mr. Lee is raiding with 50 people. Thank you for the raid, Lee. With that said, I will actually go ahead and start the next one. I was actually gonna use a quick restroom break, but I think given that we have a raid coming in, we gotta keep going, right? Thank you for the raid, Lee. And then for those of you who aren't, familiar with my list, I am testing today, and the cool card that has been quite impressive actually today so far. Like it's been pretty much good and it has not been a liability. That's the big portion, right? You don't want liabilities. This card has been quite good today, and anybody who has been with me this entire stream can vouch. Just probably won 2 games right today, and sped up the clock in a third. Ouch. The reanimator bracket is well. If you're talking about me, that would be nice. If you're talking about you, that would be I feel bad, right? So one thing, so most people who know me know that I think Elvish Reclaimer is the best creature in Legacy. It does a lot, but one thing it does not do is it's not a win condition. And this card is a card that I had thought about trying for a long time. It just didn't feel like it was good enough. But I got convinced by the real X Whale, Will Kruger, that it's at least worth a shot. And if it doesn't work, we uh, unearth every stone, so no stone is untouched, so to speak, right? And I think this might be the real deal, and based on today's matches. And shout out to Will, who pushed me to try today, experiment, but it's been quite good. Just randomly drawing it, or like, oh, thank you, I appreciate that, Lee. Oh, it's far better in my opinion. It's not even close in my unbad mental misstep. Like the floor on Reclaimer is very high, and the ceiling is very high. Shepherd, the ceiling is very high, but the floor is also very low, right? Like sometimes it just doesn't do anything. Like it's kind of like the 2020 or 2019 fire version of Heritage Druid. You see it when it's good, but a lot of times it just doesn't do anything and dies to Plague Engineer. And for those of you coming in from Lee's stream, here are some of the relevant links for those of you who are curious. I think the most important one is probably the YouTube one. Thank you for the follow, Johnny OT. And then I think if you want more elf content, you can follow me on Twitter or join my Discord too. There's a lot of good information. Everything there is free besides the Patreon, which is only $5 for a minimum subscription, which is honestly, I think, all you need. I left the other options. The $10 option, I think I will review your 1 league a month of a random patron. And right now, actually, if you do that, the odds of me selecting are pretty much automatic because I haven't had anybody put in that request yet, even though there are some people who are in that tier just to support me. But yeah, the $5 tier probably more than enough to get a lot of good content, I think, and you get the latest sideboard map that I will post every 2 weeks. I post also, so 4 weeks in a month, right? 2 weeks will be on every first and third, or second and fourth, depending on the month. I'll be posting an updated sideboard map. Sometimes also before big events, as a courtesy, so people will have access to my latest list for a big event. I will also post starting this past month the monthly update for the metagame, and that will be once a month. And then article of my choice on the other week of the month that we didn't account for. I think here we can just go back to the normal view. Oops. We're playing Lin Hollow, guess. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I don't know what they're on. I think they're usually on like different things. This list is, we're playing for the 5-0 right now, so we'll see how it goes. We went 4-1 in the first league tonight, losing to Susurrus on this artifact combo deck that I don't think we really could have done anything. We had Collective and they still beat it, right, with Spatial Contortion. Alright, it looks like it's 8 cast. I think this, unless it's the combo version, I feel pretty good about this matchup. They're splashing white for Swords to Plowshares. So Collective Oof not very safe here. I think given this hand, I think we want it's either Bayou or the Averted Catacombs, right? And I think the reason to pick the Averted Catacombs is the to leave the Averted Catacombs in your hand is for it to represent a Arbor, and I think that's what we want to do. Yeah, they hit two foul. So our Shepherd might be dead here. We'll see. Okay. So one thing I want to point out is I have trimmed, and this is gonna sound like blasphemy, and the elf community may just come out and cancel me right on the spot, but I've actually cut down to only three shepherds. I just don't think you need it, like most of the time. And between four Once Upon a Time and four Green Sun, you're gonna have it most of the time when you want it. It's not the reason. The logic is this card is kind of like Ragavant in the sense that it's terrible against certain decks, and we don't have Brainstorm to put it back. This matchup tends to be really good though, for whatever that's worth. I think here, I think we're just gonna play out our hand. Yeah, I think we're gonna do that. They named the what is it called? They named Reclaimer with the needle, so which is unfortunate, right? We want to unlock our deck with Cradle, but it is what it is. This is a very favorable matchup. I don't, but then we have to be careful. Hopefully, we don't get overconfident and lose this. The more combo version is a little bit harder with the LEDs, but then you make yourself weaker to Delver. All right, that is a good draw. Do they have removal? Okay. So here, maybe we just lock out their deck, right? Like, actually, no, we're one short. We, there's an argument to be made to collector. We're just one short of collective here. We can once upon a time end step, or we can proactively get the we can proactively get a what is it called right now? Yeah, it's a green null rod. We can also get a heritage druid, but I don't think that's like to try to speed up the win. I don't think that's really what's killing us here. Let me think. Actually, yeah, maybe we just want them. I think we just want a once upon a time here, and then we can check our choices afterwards. We should be favored, and then the more favored I am, the slower I tend to be because I don't want to lose to a random matchup, or randomly good. So they may. Oh, Shadow Spear is quite good. That's a little awkward for us for sure. Because they're gonna put on the construct now, and then that's a lot of damage. Sure. One reason to play the Verdant would be to deck in for the Once Upon a Time. So it's possible we should have done that. We're gonna feel silly though if we yikes, that's not good. We're gonna feel silly though if we see a Bayou, right? Heritage is quite good here. We need the mana, so I'm not gonna bounce. Okay, there's the mana we need. Let's double check. I think this will increase the damage. Oops. It's a lot of damage. Hoof, there it is. Yeah, for sure. Closer than I wanted it to be, but we'll take it. No, it's way more than 28 because trample, Johnny. It was like 40 some damage. Before blocks, obviously. So I think here, um, we don't. Oops, I hate this view, or I'm not used to it. Maybe not hate is a strong word. We don't want the endurance. The Archon is good, but it's a little dangerous given that they have Source of Plowshares. I think it's probably still worth it. The Gris is like interesting because they have potentially Canonist out of the board. We definitely want the Assassin's Trophy. Caracas for Emery is like reasonable too. This is like interesting too because I'm not sure how easy it is for us to turn this on. Uh, might be worth it, but I'm gonna hold off. I think we just wanna like be lean, so to speak. Normally, yeah, I would not have the grist in, but the white tells me not contain. Yeah, containment priest could be a thing. Canonist could be a thing. I think we just in general want to be like low to the ground, and then we can just potentially combo our opponent. Actually, I don't even think grist might be worth it. Yeah, let's try without. If they have canonist, we'll bring it in later, but maybe the white's just for swords. Yeah, I feel like you're the this is like a world, this is like a NBA finals or something. Thank you for the follow, Kinder Pastor. I'm playing like game seven, trying to close out right that 5-0 here. All right, I think this is fine. It's got lands and spells. The hoof is not great, but I think it's fine. Imagine we had the force of vigor here, right? I think given our board state, we probably want the symbiote. And the logic being is we can glimpse next turn. I know, right? It is what it is. Did our opponent mull? No, they didn't. Sure. I wonder if they boarded out forces. Probably not. Sure, we're okay with that actually. Here I'm just gonna lead with Glimpse and see what they do. Nice. The War would, provide a double draw here essentially. All right. So I'll pass the turn. So the line here is I want to be mana efficient. So what that's gonna mean is I'm gonna use the what's it called, the Wirewood to bounce the Arbor so that I can cast Once Upon a Time. Sure. Hoof actually in the opener here is not that bad because they'll often get caged, right? Off the Saga. So not the worst. Not great obviously, but has applications. Here just being mana efficient essentially. The Collector Oof seems quite good. I wonder if that's a removal spell in their hand. The Visionary here obviously pretty good too. I think we just want to shut off their deck, right? That's true, they do. I think even then we force it out, right? That's a good observation there, Johnny. I think here we do that. Here we're gonna get the Visionary now. If they have a Containment Freeze, I'm gonna be not happy. What is going on? Oh, they have a Hull Breacher. Interesting. Okay, so if I want the draw here, I can Assassin Trophy the Hull Breacher. I don't think it's worth it to me because then I can't play the Oof, so that's okay. Like I can live with that. Like I don't care about the tempo loss. I think it's probably over. We even have Assassin's Trophy backup, but we'll see. I'm trying to think what that could be. I don't think we care about constructs. Like this hook's gonna do like 30 or 40 damage. Yeah, again, right? We really want to stick to Oof. Like we can afford losing one. We can afford to lose one draw here, especially if they tap out. I think that's probably game. Yeah, I don't think we care. I'm not gonna bounce anything too, because I want everything to come in right now. It's a lot of damage. All right, that was easy enough. Like I said, this matchup is very good. Nice 5-0. You know. All right, let's go back. Yeah, this like felt real good to be honest. Like, we only dropped one game here in the second league, and in the first league we lost one match. So pretty good overall night, like 9-1. Anybody have questions for this list? I don't even think this list is like super optimal. It's just happened to be what we played tonight. Definitely this like mass vandal felt kind of shaky. The crop, like maybe there's an argument to be made. It should be something else, but I kind of like that it pairs well with Caracas, and it's kind of like a line tutor, right? But better, and can get the bog or the lair as a win condition, obviously. But yeah, pretty nice 5-0, and appreciate Lee and earlier tonight I think it was Dukes with the raid earlier tonight. So I mean, just shout out to the legacy community. But I know the sample size was quite small, but this card was pretty impressive for whatever it's worth tonight. Um, I'm gonna zoom in again on this card. But yeah, it won 2 games and made a third. Like we won faster because of it, right? Against a reanimator player in the first league. Um, so I definitely think it's warranted to try to continue playing it. Also, losing a fetch is tough, obviously, but I think 8 is probably still okay. And the good thing is like this gives us a fifth. Um, what is it called? It gives us a fifth non-arbor land now to get, right, in case we already have Cradle. So that comes up sometimes in the late game, and man, the closing speed on this was it won us. The biggest match of the night that it won was against the Delver player, where it just fireballed them for 10 out of nowhere. So yeah, pretty relevant, I think, and it wasn't a liability, so that's the key part, I think. Um, the Caracas like was a little bit slow when we played against the that Hogak player, but who knows, right? Like I think it's probably still worth a slot because things can be found off reclaimers like gets a lot of plus EV, so to speak, right? And I think that pretty much does it. Did anybody have any questions for me at the moment? Trying to think who would be a nice person to stream. Some modern. Let me see. Climbing and talking bands. I know Ham TV is like what's it called? Pretty popular drafter. That might be worth going to. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Spellhold is my LGS in Orange County. I hadn't gone the last few weeks for a few reasons. Namely, I caught COVID myself, so I wanted to make sure I was, fully asymptomatic before going back. I already tested negative, but with the rise of Omicron, I would not feel, I would feel bad for going, so to speak, right? Because I don't want to, potentially infect anybody. Obviously, when I had it, obviously I'm negative now, but with the rise of Omicron, maybe I'll hold out a little bit longer. But my intent is to go back and play some, at least EDH or whatnot. I usually don't play too much Legacy these days at the store because I play online. But one thing I will say is I have not tested. I have not gotten a chance to play with my 4 Endurances and 4 Allosaur Shepherd. I guess if I went back to the store, it'd be 3 Shepherds, but I've not gotten to use them in paper yet, ever since buying them during Black Friday shopping. So that would be incentive for me to go back. But yeah, good question, Digital Sloth. Without the okay, so I know I do have somewhat of a big crowd, at least for my, for me at least. Uh, I know Lee and Dukes usually has more people than I do, have more people than I do. But anybody have questions about this list or want, it's AMA timer. You can ask me anything. I'm pretty good about answering in general, or at least I try to be. I won't duck any questions, obviously, and I do think right now elves. The list felt really good with this layer of the Hydra. Like this is definitely a plus, I think, for the deck. Assuming with a larger sample size, it's not too much of a liability. Didn't seem like it was though. Vandals seemed pretty bad, honestly. Romario. We boarded in a few times. It just didn't seem like that great, to be honest. Nah, I don't know if you're trolling me or not, Romario, but I do not really like Rex Stage. I think the card's quite bad. I think if anything, I would play like a couple lane lines. If I know people, I'm thank you for the follow Stoneblade for life, but I think 4 mana to Green Sun 4 is like really slow. Sometimes you have to get out of jam, but what deck do we need to get out of jam for at the moment? Like, I think against these Moonstompy decks, it's probably too slow, right? Most of the time, unless you naturally draw it. It's too slow against lands. And I think against lands, I'd rather have Ramanat Excavator as like a top end to Green Sun 4. Because if you can get to an Excavator, they probably can't. It probably makes the matchup a lot easier. Oh, I'm glad to hear you say that, Stoneblade for life. But yeah, I think today, or the cards I'm really happy with in general, I think 4 Cs, 3 Endurance, 3 Trophy, Progenitus are all a must. And what I mean by that is just like, because we don't have Force of Will, no problem, a Stoneblade. Unfortunately, like this is the end of our second league, and I'm probably gonna be wrapping things up, pretty soon after this AMA, so to speak. But you can definitely catch it on like YouTube. I'll definitely post this again. I'll post my link right here. I usually post all my videos on YouTube because Twitch takes it off after a while. But also, I think anybody who wants more content, I think my Patreon is pretty good for $5, and then my Discord for anybody who wants to join. And then obviously, I think my Twitter if you want, latest updates from me, so to speak. But yeah, we went 9-1 today in 2 leagues. 4-1 the first league, we 5-0 the second league. Here are our matchups. We only dropped 1 game in the second matchup, so I mean the list felt very good. Aside from the Mass Mandal that felt kind of not that great, honestly, and maybe the call is just ley line, right? Like in these 2 slots and just like not lose to the Oopsaw spells or the Urza Echo kind of decks, or the Oopsaw spells, so to speak, or Oopsaw Cradles, but maybe we should be Oopsaw Graveyard Hate. But something for me to think about in the future. I think the stream was quite successful because I think this card was very impressive. The few times we had it, and one time we had it naturally, and we just like 10 ball. It's not a 10 ball. Like did a whole bunch of damage against our Stifle opponent, because we had multiple cradles, and then the other time we tutored for it when it just did a ton of damage too because we had a cradle on board already, and what are they gonna do? Not wasteland the cradle, right? Like. So I think overall, yeah, pretty happy with the list. I think these two are still the flex slots. Technically, the Karakas and the Runnerfowl are as well. I think the Karakas being tutorable makes it so that we should probably play it because the value of being found off. You have like 9 virtual copies essentially, right? And can be found off once upon a time as well. For those who don't know, and this is gonna sound sacrilegious, I'm only playing 3 Shepherds. I just don't think we need 4 copies. Is the reason, and I'd rather have a very more consistent deck, right? Overall, I know that's gonna sound crazy. I know even those in my closest circles, like Romario or maybe Levi, will think it's crazy, but I think 3 is honestly fine. If you draw 2 against like Merit Lage decks, it's just a disaster, right? And I'd rather this deck be overall functional, if that makes sense. All right. Without further ado, I'll go ahead. If there's no more questions, I'll go ahead and raid the Ham TV. Thank you everybody for coming by. This was definitely a very productive stream today.